Alright, let's talk about something that's been on my mind lately, and it's a story that really hits home in so many ways. You might have heard about Towle, a TikTok creator who recently passed away at just 26 years old after battling stage 4 cholangiocarcinoma, a rare form of bile duct cancer. But here's the thing, this isn't just another sad story about cancer. What makes this really interesting is how Sydney used her platform to challenge our perceptions of what it means to live with a terminal illness. Personally, I think her approach was revolutionary, and it raises a deeper question: how do we balance vulnerability with authenticity in the age of social media? First off, let's talk about Sydney's journey. She was diagnosed with this rare cancer in her early 20s, a time when most of us are figuring out our careers, relationships, and identities. What many people don't realize is that cholangiocarcinoma is typically diagnosed in people over 50, so Sydney's case was already an outlier. But instead of letting her diagnosis define her, she turned it into a platform for advocacy and connection. She posted about her treatments, her struggles, and yes, even her bikini selfies and dance videos. One thing that immediately stands out is how she refused to let cancer strip her of her youth or her joy. Now, here's where it gets fascinating. Sydney's content wasn't just about cancer, it was about life. She shared her solo trip to Spain, her mom helping her with ice packs for hair loss, and her daily routines. In my opinion, this blend of vulnerability and normalcy is what made her so relatable. But it also sparked controversy. Online trolls accused her of faking her illness or exploiting it for clout. What this really suggests is how uncomfortable we are with seeing illness and youth coexist. We want cancer patients to look a certain way, fragile, somber, maybe even a little saintly. Sydney shattered that stereotype, and that made people uneasy. If you take a step back and think about it, Sydney's story is a microcosm of a bigger trend in social media, the tension between authenticity and curation. She wasn't just sharing her life, she was inviting us to rethink how we view illness, especially in young people. A detail I find fascinating is how she addressed the trolls head-on, saying, "I'm not a television show you're watching. I'm a person." That line stuck with me because it's such a powerful reminder of the humanity behind the screen. We often forget that influencers are real people with real struggles, not just characters in a narrative we consume. What's even more impactful is the legacy Sydney leaves behind. Melinda Bikini from the Cholangiocarcinoma Foundation said Sydney's role as an influencer persuaded her audience to reconsider living with a serious illness. Personally, I think that's the most important takeaway here. Sydney didn't just document her journey, she changed the conversation. She showed us that you can be young, vibrant, and terminally ill all at once. That duality is what makes her story so compelling. Now, let's talk about the broader implications. Sydney's death has sparked an outpouring of grief and reflection, but it also raises questions about how we remember people online. Her family's TikTok update was flooded with condolences, but what happens to her platform now? Does it become a memorial, or does it fade away? From my perspective, her legacy isn't just in the videos she left behind but in the conversations she started. She challenged us to see illness as a part of life, not a deviation from it. As I wrap this up, I'm left with a thought that's been lingering: how do we honor stories like Sydney's? In my opinion, it's by continuing the conversations she started. It's by recognizing that vulnerability and authenticity aren't weaknesses, they're acts of courage. Sydney's life was short, but her impact is lasting. And if there's one thing I hope you take away from this, it's that life is messy, beautiful, and fleeting. So, go get that pint of Ben and Jerry's, watch your favorite movie, and remember that even in the face of adversity, life is worth living fully. What do you think? How do you balance vulnerability and authenticity in your own life? Let me know in the comments below.